God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Britain, Great Britain, land of the free, hope and glory, tolerance, tea, sausage rolls, great sense of humour, and shepherd's pie. Yes, we invented it. Like lots of great things. And I'm going to clear this up once and for all, because I don't know what the deal is with American shepherd's pie. Because for some reason they use beef. I don't get it. Right, here's how it is. Cottage pie is beef, shepherd's pie is lamb. Like, I get you've kind of adapted it and made it your own, but it's so confusing. What do you call an actual shepherd's pie then that's got lamb in it? Is that a cottage pie? Or maybe you don't use lamb at all in America? Like, I know you can get it, but freaking Christ, it's expensive. I'll never forget when Auntie Brenda Rigdon, one of my long-time subscribers, she sent me a picture of 2 lamb leg steaks in America in a shop there, and there was like 2 lamb leg steaks for $14. What? Oh my God, that is so expensive. Like here, 2 lamb leg steaks will cost you like £4, 3-4 quid. But yes, here in Britain, cottage pie is beef, shepherd's pie is lamb. And we certainly don't put flipping sweet corn in it either. That just seems totally wrong. Before we dive into it though, remember, don't skip anything, because you'll miss steps and also the entertainment value that I bring to this cooking channel. And if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe and the grey notification bell. Allow all notifications, so when I upload a video, YouTube tells you about it and you can watch it and learn how to cook delicious food. Stay to this. You right, bud? Chilling out? Yes. But yes, we're going to make a shepherd's pie. So let's get to it. Vegetables. Yes, these are going to go into our shepherd's pie. And it's a classic combination. It's onion, carrot and celery. And this is how a lot of delicious savoury dishes start. So all I'm going to do is peel off the onion pubes, slice it, peel it, all that good stuff. And with these vegetables, we want quite a fine dice. Okay, just nice and finely. So I'm going to chop all this up and I'll see you in a second. So there we have the veg prepped. You can see, look, it's all roughly the same sort of size. And that's all the prep you need to do. Just a bit of chopping. So now we can get cooking. So I've got my casserole dish here. Focus! Focus, you piece of shit. So I've got my pan here. I'm going to add a touch of oil. Not too much because lamb is quite fatty, but just to kind of get it going really. Get it onto a heat. I'd say about a medium heat. And then in with our lamb mince. And then just kind of start breaking it up with a spoon. And like all good things savoury and meaty, we want to get some colour on it, don't we? Nice and brown, nice and golden brown. So, meat is now nicely browned. Nice colour on there. What I am going to do is just take it out of this pan just temporarily. Just get that in there. And any remaining lamb fat that might have come out of the meat, keep it in here, okay? Because that's going to add flavour and we're going to use that to soften our veg. If your lamb sort of leaks out too much, you can drain some off, because you don't want like a swimming pool of lamb fat. That's not good for anybody, is it? Then turn it down to a low heat and add the veg. And then just nice and gently, about 10-15 minutes, well probably more like 20, just take your time and get them nice and soft.
A few inches later.
Right, so I've been softening up this veg for about 20 minutes. Now I know I said the only prep we need to do is to chop the veg, but I lied. Got to do the potatoes as well. Also get those on. Put the spuds in a pan, add some water and some salt, bring to the boil and like simmer till they're cooked. And that's going to take like 15-20 minutes as well. Now to this I'm going to add about a tablespoon of tomato puree or paste, whatever you call it in your respective countries. And yes, you guessed it, we need to cook this out. Just for about 30 seconds to a minute, takes out the graininess and the rawness of the tomato paste. And I am going to add just a knob of butter. If you've got plenty of lamb fat left in there, again, you won't need it, but this needs a bit of help. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of plain flour, and that's just going to help thicken it up. Just cook everything out for a minute. You know what you're doing, because Adam's taught you enough times. Now after about a minute, I'm just going to add a little bit of the stock, just to kind of help lift off all those bits from the bottom of the pan, all those nice bits, all those delicious bits. that are going to be wonderful in your shepherd's pie. Then back in with the lamb. It is smelling wonderful and it's not even fully cooked yet. Got a couple of bay leaves as well, give them a scrunch, get those in. And some fresh rosemary, finely chopped. Yes. And much like my Lancashire hot pot, we're going to add some Worcester sauce. I want 2 tablespoons of that. And the rest of the stock, I'm going to add a generous pinch of black pepper. I'm not going to add any salt at this point because obviously there's salt in the stock. So once this is kind of cooked through, we'll test it for salt and we'll add some if we need it. It's getting hot in here. I've got the heating on. I'll take off all my clothes in a moment. Yeah. Now I'm just going to simmer this nice and gently with, hang on, the lid on, just for like 20-30 minutes, okay? Just until everything's cooked through, all the flavours are kind of amalgamated. Now, and you'll also notice there's not a lot of liquid. That's because you don't want your shepherd's pie to be like all soupy and like a big gloopy mess. You want it to have a bit of structure. So I'm going to leave that for about 20 minutes, half an hour, simmering nice and gently. The spuds are on, they're cooking as well, so we can make the mash, and then we can assemble it all together and get it in the oven. I had a comment the other day from someone who said they didn't like me swearing in my videos. And in my defence, I hardly ever swear. And when I do swear, it's bleeped out. It's censored. So whatever or I say, they're censored out. And like, I'm sorry, but sometimes you need to say a swear word. You know, you've got to express yourself. And sometimes that means profanity. But it got me thinking, like, I'm not your average sanitised clinical cooking show. I don't have a massive budget, a nice studio full of expensive camera equipment and lighting. Because most cooking TV shows are bollocks, aren't they? Of course I'm gonna swear, right? That's what people do, that's life, that's humanity. Your average cooking show doesn't show these sorts of things. You know, real life and real cooking in a kitchen at home. They don't show the bits where, you know, the flipping handles come loose on your saucepan, so you're there with a knife out the drawer trying to get the little screw back in to tighten it up. They don't show the grease splatters on your wall, that manky tea towel you've got that should have been chucked away years ago. They don't show that. You know, they use a pan once and then chuck it away, I'm sure, because in every show they're always pristine and immaculate. Not a mark on them. I mean, look at my flipping pans. Look at the crud on that. That's used nearly every day. That's why. I'm never going to get that off. This flipping roasting tray that I've had for about 13 years, encrusted with crap and crud, but it's the best roasting tray ever, okay? And I'll never get rid of it. This is real cooking, this is real life. And if you're upset that I'm swearing, well, there's bigger things to be upset in the world about, isn't there? I don't come round in your kitchen and tell you what to do. Perhaps I should. Perhaps I start knocking on people's doors. Oi! Stop swearing. Oi, your pan's dirty. Oi, you got grease splats on your wall. Oi, you've burnt your dinner. Okay. Oi, 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 oi. It's my house. It's my kitchen. So, whoever you are, if you're watching, complaining that I swear in my videos, f***ing deal with it. Okay, right, let's do our mash. Now I'm going to make this mash slightly differently to how you would normally have it with, say, as a side dish for your dinner. Normally I'd add loads of butter, some milk, maybe some egg yolks, just to make it nice and creamy. But with a topping for a shepherd's pie or a cottage pie, you don't really want that. Because if it's too wet, it's going to sink into the filling. So what I've done is I've cooked the potatoes, I've drained them off, and just leave them for a minute, just so most of the steam evaporates. Look, if you want lump-free mash, get one of these, a potato ricer. I'll put a link up so you can go and get one, but listen, they're brilliant. So I'm just going to load some spuds into the ricer and just kind of rice it. So there is our pile of lovely, fluffy mashed potato. I am going to add just a small amount of butter, just to give it some richness. Say like 2 tablespoons. I'm going to season that up with some white pepper. White pepper and mashed potato are friends, best friends. Touch of salt and just kind of mix that in. And we're just going to kind of gauge it. Once that butter's melted through, if it looks a bit too dry, I'll add a touch of milk, which that's a bit too crumbly. So get some milk, just add like 50 ml, if that. And that is the mash done for your shepherd's pie. All right, let's get the lid off. Let's have a look. Oh, steam. What I am going to do is take out those bay leaves because they've done their job. I'm just going to taste it for seasoning. See if it needs anything else. Does need some salt. Most definitely does. And also, what I'm going to do now is I've turned the heat off and I'm just going to leave it for like half an hour just to cool down a bit, and that will help the mash kind of stay on top and not sink. And then we'll put the mash on the top and we'll get it in the oven. Right then, so the filling has now been sitting for a while. Let's get the mash on the top. And how I like to do it is I'll kind of get lumps like that, spoonfuls, and just kind of plop it on in random places. And then I'll just kind of gradually fill in the gaps, because this just kind of ensures that you get a nice even spread. And then just taking a palette knife, I'm just going to work across, spreading that mash out, and then just taking a fork, I'm just going to rough up the top. This just helps it get nice and crisp. You could make it all fancy and kind of pipe it on if you want, but no one's got time for that. And I'm just going to add a few dots of butter. That's just going to help crisp up the top and make it lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And that's it, that's ready. This bad boy is ready for the oven. And that's not going to take very long to cook at all, like 20-30 minutes. Because listen, everything else is cooked. You're just kind of warming everything through, and you want that mash to be nice and crispy on the top. No insipid, horrible beige mash, because the crispy mash on the top is like one of the best bits to eat. And once it's done and you take it out of the oven, just leave it for like 5 minutes, because it's going to be stupidly hot. You don't want to burn your mouth. Just let it calm down, just relax for 5 minutes. Then we can serve it up and have a taste. Can't wait to look into this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that crispy mash. You see it? Focus. Bit of mash, bit of filling. It's so good. It is really good. The mash is nice and crispy. It always reminds me of that episode. I think it was Kitchen Nightmares. And Gordon Ramsay was like in some restaurant in America, and they served him a shepherd's pie. And it had like a massive pool of gravy just sort of dumped on the top. And he wasn't best pleased that it ruined his crispy mash. It's got a nice punch of rosemary. And it's just supremely savoury and delicious. You cannot go wrong with this recipe. Now, I know in America you have like different ways of doing things, but if you want a proper British shepherd's pie, this is how you do it. No sweet corn. Use good lamb, some nice lamb stock, some veg, some herbs, a bit of kitchen pizzazz, and you'll have a wonderful meal, I promise you. Has Adam ever let you down? I might be nuts, but I don't let you down. But look guys, did you enjoy it? How did you find my shepherd's pie? Is it similar to how you make it, or do you make yours completely differently? But do the usual stuff. Like it, share it, leave a comment down below. Let's talk about my wonderful shepherd's pie and the bits of crispy mash that I'm picking off the top. Because I can, because I'm not sharing it with anyone else, it's mine. But listen, before I go, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications on, so then you won't miss a video. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see your gorgeous faces in the next video. Bye for now. Let's have some more of this wonderful thing that I have created. Ah, yes, yes. See you later.